Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Growth by Design Morrison Lead podcast. And today I am thrilled to have in the studio with me Romel Morrison, family member, recording artist, and he is joining me today to talk a little bit about how we lead our lives, especially when we want to maintain good relationships within families and community. So, welcome, Romel.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, so as my mom was saying, I'm the firstborn. My name is Ramel Morrison. I'm a recording artist, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be able to be here today talking about at least one key to maintaining good relationships. And this spans from work relationships and all like just friendships, just across the board. So this one key has been something that's helped me, and I was glad to share it.
Romel, how would you describe your relationship, first and foremost, within the context of family?
So one of the things that I'd be able to say is that I actually do have a great relationship with my family. I love my brothers. I got two of them. Love my mom and my dad, and we all really do have a great relationship. And we all communicate with each other. We're all considerate of each other, and yeah, it's something that is continual. So yeah, as I can say, I'm glad to be able to say I have a good relationship with my family.
Mhm. So we're at the on the eve, literally, of a new year, and people make all kinds of resolutions and goals, and really look to um, do greater things, better things,
Right.
to do more, to have vision for their future. And one of the areas that is predominantly talked about is relationships.
Yeah.
I actually think that relationships is the core to having, whether it be success in at work, in at home,
No.
um, at play, wherever you go in community. So, what is a key relationship for you that you want to talk about today?
Well, I'd piggyback on just first one thing that you said about how important relationships are across the board.
Hmm.
One thing that I've thought of, and I've talked about this with many different people, is that even when you look at society, from the ranging from the best of people to the worst of people, the relationships that they had, and e- how that went, it really does shape not only who they would be as people, but society. So when it comes to relationships, it really is important because it's not going to be just something that impacts or benefits one individual or others, around them in terms of just your
Hmm.
immediate friends, but it's something that can really impact, generations or in countries. It's something that's far reaching. So relationships is a really big thing. But I would say for me, number one relationship that I would focus on in terms of
Hmm.
that I want to maintain or that I care about, it would be friends and family.
Friends and family.
Yeah.
So let's talk about friends.
Yeah.
And you talked about communication earlier. What's one aspect of communicating that helps to uh, have a good relationship?
Yeah. I'd say one key to keeping good relationships, and this is something that has proven to be true for myself, is gratitude. When you have a continual lens of gratitude for your friends, it really does help carry things on throughout the years. Like I have some childhood friends that I'm still close to, and it's really just that gratitude. When you think about those few things or many things that you love about that individual,
Mm,
it helps to continue to keep the relationship, but not only keep the relationship, but
mhm,
also grow. Because
mm,
when you have when you have a sense of gratitude for who this person is, let's
mhm,
say for example, you care about how they listen,
mhm,
you appreciate that they're a good listener, then it makes it so that when you're going into different situations in your relationship, not only are you bearing in mind This is somebody who's listened to me through the years. This is somebody they've held space, and they've helped me get through many different trials and tribulations, and also heard the best of things that have happened for me. This is something that helps you as like just with a mindset of when I want to build, this is somebody that I want to build with.
Right.
So yeah, gratitude would be, I would say, one of the number one keys in maintaining good relationships.
Right. And it's interesting because I know you haven't been following just yet, as you will in the future, the podcast. But I recently shared about gratitude and shared about the appreciation for. And so that's great that you highlighted gratitude as being one of the key to maintaining good relationships, really being appreciative of the relationship, giving praise, and
Yeah,
saying to the people that you're in relationship with, um, you know, expressions of thanks
yeah,
in different ways. I wanted to define the word as a noun. Relationship is the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected or the state of being connected. There's the state of being connected by blood, by marriage, or you can trace relationships to common ancestors. The way in which two or more people or groups regard and behave towards each other. So there's the landlord relationships, the
yeah.
friendship relationship, the teacher pupil relationship, husband wife, and the list goes on. So, whatever relationships you're in today, and I'm sure that there's a gamut of them that probably comes to mind. Think of one key relationship that you have that you want to see get better, grow, improve, and become all that it can be as we continue to talk about relationships and especially ones that we want to throughout the next year show gratitude for. So, what relationship do you think you might want to show more gratitude for as you go into the new year?
Yeah.
Uh, so, Ramel, what's another key as it pertains to communicating to maintain a good relationship?
I'd say it really is tied to gratitude, but it can be something in and of itself, is vocalizing, how would I say this? I'd say praise, giving praise to another person or being a person of encouragement. That's one thing that will help carry things along as well. Because gratitude is something that you can express, but it's something first that starts within. You're meditating or you're thinking about how this person or this thing has brought prosperity to your life.
Mhm.
But when it comes to encouragement or giving praise, that is the outward expression of that gratitude. So I would say in a relationship, once more, whether it be a person being a good listener
Mhm.
or, even just a friend who is extremely humorous, being able to share the fact that you are not like, and not even just saying you're funny, because saying you're funny is one of the most direct and simplistic ways of saying that they make you laugh. I hear kids say that. For years I was working with kids, and when you'd be a little bit silly with them, oops, the number one thing the kids will say to you is, "You're funny." You know what I mean? Like, so it's a very simplistic way to say that. But even as adults, one of the ways that you can communicate that, a little bit more is just saying, you bring so much joy to my life. You put a smile on my face. When I woke up this morning, I was a little bit down, or I woke up this morning, I wasn't in the right headspace. And you said X, Y, and Z, and it really did put a smile on my face. It lifted my.
Mhm.
So communicating what it is that, how, what that person did impacted you, and it brought, you know, a sense of joy to your life, or enjoyment.
Mhm. Yeah, there are 3 things that over the years of studying about communication that immediately comes to my mind as you're talking about the way someone shares with you, especially you having worked with young kids. You work in an elementary school currently. And one of the three things, and I'll just touch on those for the sake of you examining your relationship, is that we communicate for growth, we communicate for openness,
Yeah.
trust, and respect. And all of those things, I said four, they're the growth that's happening with between you and the students, the teachers, principal, all of those are happening because there is openness,
Yeah.
right? Transparency to the degree that you're open to share, and growth when you're doing the complementary aspect of communicating, and really it develops into you being able to trust and them being able to trust you. So
Yeah.
that communication in relationship is key for trust, openness, and growth. And I think that you've demonstrated that in the relationships that you foster in your work. Let's see. Wanted you to touch on relationship as it pertains to siblings.
Siblings, yeah.
Yeah. What are some things that you do together that develops relationship? What are some things that you would say to someone who may have a strained relationship within family systems? What are some things that they can do that would help to foster maybe growth, respect, openness, and trust?
I would say, just as a general rule of thumb, because I have my own personal ways that I foster better relationships with my own brothers. But in general, when it comes to siblings, I think that one thing that really does help to improve and grow healthy relationships amongst siblings
Mm.
is paying attention and being one who is attentive to the other person's needs and their likes. So when you're a person who is attentive, when you're a person who is curious, then you're already on the winning track. Because, for example, let's say that you have a sibling who is more of a quality time type of person, then you could go around trying to give them hugs from sun up to sundown, and they'll hate it. They'll absolutely hate it because they're not a physical touch person. And you'll know this by if you try to hug this person 2 or 3 times, and every single time you hug them, they're repulsed, or every single time
Mhm.
you try to hug them, they say, they clinch up. They're like, "Why are we hugging? I don't like this. This feels terrible."
Do you have a brother who's like that?
Not that, and here's the thing, it's also like it also depends. You should This is why you say you have to be attentive, because oftentimes when somebody also tells you when they don't like something, there's a reason why. They'll say surrounding things as to
Mhm.
why they don't like it. That's why I would say, more than a specific thing of how to grow your relationships,
Mhm.
one would be being a person who is attentive.
Or things that have bound you together.
One thing that's bound me and my brothers, two things that have bound me and my brothers, is humor and movies. We love movies, and we love to laugh.
Mhm.
So even on a small practical level, one thing that we often do to strengthen our relationship is that throughout the day, we'll send each other messages on Instagram or through text of funny things that we've seen that would make the other person laugh. And it's just like, it's a cycle. You just continue to do it, and you know that the other person is laughing on the other end. So then,
Mhm.
even when we come together, whether we talk about what we sent each other or not,
Mhm. Mhm.
it has helped to, as you said, to not so much to build, but it's helped to reaffirm that
Mm.
connection.
Absolutely. Love that. We wanna have young people, young adults, family members who can share the podcast with those who are, maybe wanting to be in relationships, as in male, female relationship. So you're a young man coming out of your 20s, and you're a bachelor. Are you, I don't know if you're single, ready to mingle, or
Definitely.
single, ready to mingle? What's one thing that you would say a young man is looking for in a young woman as it pertains to building a relationship?
Mm. I would say, I mean, I can't speak for anybody else. Everybody,
Well, speak for you.
everybody else has different the thing that they're looking for.
What
But
are you looking for?
for me, I'm looking for a lot, but I would say that one thing that I'm looking for
Mhm.
is just a deep sense of willingness to learn about one another. Because I do find that,
So you're looking for someone who wants to learn about you.
yeah, it's a but the key word I would say willingness.
Okay.
I would say
So
willingness
you're looking for someone who is willing.
and has a willing and has a deep desire to learn more about me. If you don't appreciate the people that are around you, you're not going to be motivated to invest in that relationship in any way, shape, or form. And then not
Relationship is an investment, isn't it?
and then by default, unless this person is just
Mhm.
super in love with you, it also is going to impact how invested they are in appreciating you or keeping that relationship. So appreciation and gratitude are huge. They're
Yeah.
huge.
Absolutely. How we interact, how we communicate, how we serve all comes out from a place of appreciation for the things that we have, the people that we have. And likewise, we're making investments into others because they've also, expressed appreciation. So there's a lot of reciprocation in how we live our lives and being able to live a life that is well lived. Have you ever had an experience where you may have, lost a relationship with someone?
No, for sure. The tension that can take place as a byproduct of people seeing things differently,
Mhm.
that could change the nature of the relationship. But I'd say the one thing that I learned is that even though the relationship is feeling those like it's having those moments where it's strained
Mm.
and the relationship might not continue the exact same way that it was, whether it be you have a friendship and you guys had always been one way and then tension hit and you have disagreements or you see things, you have completely different mindsets, the relationship is going to change. And the same thing for, dating relationships. The relationship is going to change. But then the question is, how are you going to move forward?
Mm.
Are you going to break apart and then that just be the end of the relationship, period? Or
Mm.
are you going to go forward and choose connection continually, but the relationship has taken a new form? So I would say for me,
Interesting.
in the most
Yeah.
cherished relationships that I have, which would be family and friends, they've changed over the years. So a lot of them don't look anything like they did
Right.
when they first began.
Mhm.
But because we kept choosing connection,
Mhm.
we're still standing, the relationship is still there. And, I would even say that there till this day, there's probably relationships that
Mhm.
I, s- that are not, they seem like they're non-existent now. And there's a little bit of a hope that in some way, shape, or form, that a relationship will be rekindled, whether it be, a happy birthday, here and there, or whatever the case may be. But point being is that relationships, when they go into this strained um point of the relationship, it changes, things change.
Mhm.
But if you keep choosing connection,
Mhm.
that's generally the thing that makes it good.
Right. Yeah. So, anything else you want to share with our audience about um, your leading your life? And one of the ways that you lead your life is through the relationships that you have. It's actually said that we are the people we are based on the five key relationships that we have. So, I don't know who the five people are that you surround. We're five as a family. So, I don't know if it's, oh,
Pretty surrounded.
we're we're probably more alike than not. And of course now with Justin having formed his own family. But the five key relationships that we have are really the way in which we are defined. So our relationships are important because they can define us. And, whether we want them to or not needs to be something. Relationships are important because they define us. So how do you want to be defined? Think about that when you are and the relationships that you have, the relationships that you are trying to foster, whether a romantic relationship, the relationship in your job, and or just in community. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the last thing I'd say is really just, doubling down on what I said initially is just that um general practice of appreciation or gratitude. Because
Mhm.
even throughout the conversation, thank you so much for having me
Mhm.
again. All throughout this conversation, it's brought me to different moments where I thought about whether it be my brothers or my friends or
Mhm.
the students that I get to work with. And
Mhm.
as I've thought about these different relationships, it's put a smile on my face. It's warmed my heart. And
Mhm.
that practice of gratitude
Mhm.
has been one that has even been taking place as this recording has been happening. And it just makes me say all the more that gratitude and appreciation is a big thing.
the so the relationships that we have are kind of like the stronghold of how we live a good life. So hope you have some great relationships within family, with friends, on the job. So this podcast has been brought to you by Growth by Design Leadership and Arts Group. It's a Morrison Lead podcast, and my guest today has been Romel Morrison, Viceroy the artist, and hope to see you again soon. Remember to maximize your potential and to live fully in your purpose. Talk to you soon.
Take care.